CBS is definitely facing backlash. There were protesters outside the Ed Sullivan Theater yesterday for this decision, and for a lot of people saying they don't believe the decision or the reasoning behind it. But then you have all of late night basically showing up in the audience to show their support for Stephen Colbert. What's the message here? What are you hearing?
I think late night is trying to signal to Colbert, don't take this personally. This is something that could have happened to any of us and probably will come at us. Remember, the Federal Communications Commission, they've launched investigations into all of these parent companies, right? Comcast, NBC, Disney, for DEI policies. Right. In terms of CBS coming out and saying this is a financial decision, I think two things can be true at once. The show was losing tens of millions of dollars, and again, that's something that Stephen Colbert shouldn't be taking personally. The ratings were fine. It's just a matter of linear television is struggling right now with viewership in the streaming era. So if the show is struggling financially, that could be true. And at the same time, CBS and its parent company, Paramount, they may want to hedge to get their deal approved. Remember, they're going through a big merger right now.
That's CNN reporting on Colbert and other comedians, the late night world, and Jon Stewart jumping in to respond to Trump and to Paramount, seemingly again taking another step, parent company of CBS, to please Donald Trump. As that merger, I thought it was already going through. I guess they're going to get more. Trump's going to get even more out of them desperately wanting that merger with Skydance to go through. Welcome, everybody, to the morning show. We have a lot to discuss. It's great to be with you. New Republic reports, go F yourself. Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart, reamed Trump and CBS. So the news was that CBS decided they were going to cancel The Late Show with Stephen Colbert completely. Not just removing him, but the whole brand. The entire show forever is being ended, which, as you heard in that CNN reporting, there is financial justification for this. And they could be doing this, the timing indicates, for their own purposes. And one of the things, I wish I could play for you clips of Colbert and Jon Stewart, but those shows, like nothing I've ever seen before in my life, are so brutal when you try to cover even small snippets that are perfectly fair use from their shows. They still copyright you and sometimes block the video altogether. It's insane. But to kind of summarize, Stephen Colbert was still bringing up the thing that people think pissed off his bosses, which is calling out CBS for settling with Trump as a bribe, is the word that he used, bribery. And saying, go F yourself. And then you have Jon Stewart dedicating a pretty significant chunk of his monologue to, and this is the point that I really resonate with, you have these big corporations in an environment where Trump is centralizing power and punishing his critics. And they think that in the short term, to subvert short-term political damage from Trump, that capitulating is the right business move. But even aside from the morality of stand up on principle, don't let Trump slap you around like that, the business side of it, I actually think they're making a huge miscalculation. And the way that Jon Stewart worded it was, you're going to have these companies like CBS, with what they've been doing with 60 Minutes, with their bending the knee on this lawsuit, and with getting rid of The Late Show, they're going to suck out of their network every ounce of what could be described as controversial that could upset Trump, leaving it just a shell of what it was before that no one's going to be interested in. And if you think that Trump going after you hurts your business, no one watching you hurts your business a lot more. And that environment of fear that's been created, that would even bring to our mind that it could be a financial decision that's also motivated time-wise by trying to please Trump or prevent further anger towards CBS by him, that you have all of these different comedians and all of the sort of media world trying to show that they're backing up Colbert here. Late night hosts Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart cursed Donald Trump and CBS News Monday night following last week's announcement that The Late Show was going to be canceled. During his show, Colbert took a moment to respond to Trump celebrating the news that The Late Show was ending. I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings, Trump wrote on Truth Social. And Colbert said, "How dare you, sir? Would an untalented man be able to compose the following satirical witticism? Go F yourself." And you had similar sentiment expressed by Stewart and so many others. And the weird thing, another point that Jon Stewart made in his monologue was you kind of, well, now I'm completely blanking on the point that he made, but we'll charge forward. Stephen Colbert mocks Trump Paramount deal with Coldplay Kiss Cam send-up. On Monday night, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert delivered an equal parts funny and pointed sketch since he announced it was canceled. Now I remember. The other point that was made was that there are things that you can do. There are steps you can take to address financial problems. A bunch. But to so quickly pull the ripcord of getting rid of the show altogether when it has such name recognition and such a brand, instead of trying to address financial problems in other ways first, at least try, definitely kind of says there has to be another factor. To not even try to renegotiate Colbert's contract or downsize the staff or anything, but get rid of that like 30-year plus brand that you can do in this world. Everything is the power of name recognition in the brand. And to have that and to not try to use it means there's another consideration there. And that's what people are worried about. And so obviously that kiss cam or couple cam from Coldplay's concert became the talk of the internet. And so they did a reference to that on the show. Again, I wish I could show you, but they would destroy our entire channel if we did. But it was sort of like putting Trump and Paramount in that sort of context of being buddy and mocking them with that. So it is good to see. Speaking of that, this has become a nationwide sensation. Now you have different stadiums doing the kiss cam that Coldplay did and having people mimic their best mockery of that CEO and the HR person. Let me mute that. Again, copyright's brutal. So they all start imitating what the couple did. It's so cute. You know, they say one person's trash is another's treasure. It's like one couple's tragedy is a nation's joy. Really weird. Really, really weird. All right, well, Trump is still screaming, trying to get attention off of Epstein and other things about the Obama conspiracy. He posted, Obama himself manufactured the Russia hoax. Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, and numerous others participated in this. The crime of the century. Irrefutable evidence. A major threat to our country. And I've already debunked that. I won't do it again. You can see our other coverage. But Mike Lee said, if proven, this would be the scandal of the century. That if proven is doing a lot of legwork. If proven, Mike Lee might be a mass murderer. If you could find the evidence, I don't know. Then this is weird. Terrence K. Williams said, Dear Barack Obama, being black will not save you. Who said it would? What? What a weird thing to bring up. You're America's biggest mistake. You belong in prison. You turn the presidency into your personal slot machine. Stacking $70 to $90 million. Guys, again, everything in this world, in this country is brands. If you become the president, now you have a brand. You can sell books, you could speak, you can charge $500,000 to do one speaking event. This dumb thing where we go, how is it that presidents got rich after they were president? It's ridiculous. You can do all sorts of things when you have that sort of name. You could license out your likeness for a documentary. You can sell your autobiography, etc. But also, how dare you talk about someone benefiting from the presidency when I don't see you raising hell about Trump making billions in the Oval Office? But I guess Terrence is saying that Obama's going to go, I didn't do Russia because I'm black. That's the argument. Strange. Funny, too, because Obama never does that. And the same thing with Kamala Harris. They make the same allegation. Oh, you probably think people can't criticize you because you're black. But are you even black? You turned black. How could you both be...
turned black.
Yeah. There was Trump saying that. How could you be both of Indian heritage and black? It's impossible. And neither of them ever do that. They're never like, oh, really? You think that I'm laying out bad policies? Well, I'm black. Like, they never use that as their line of argumentation. But what's interesting is even conservatives, a lot of them are not convinced by this latest. I mean, this is Trump bringing back the greatest hit, saying that Obama fabricated Russia, or Russian meddling, to be more precise. And the Megyn Kelly show, which became a MAGA outlet. I think in this environment of Epstein, all of them are now a little bit more comfortable criticizing Trump. She brought on guests and kind of set them up to say, yeah, this is nothing. We really want to push this. It would be really fun, but this is nothing.
They wanted to put out into the kind of, mainstream to be like, someone needs to go look at this, right? And obviously that enraged Trump, and he didn't want, he wanted everyone to know that he did this. But I'm not sure what she's implying. If there's real signs of crime or malfeasance, then goodness, put it out and let the public see it. But I'm very skeptical.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Have you looked at this? I mean, it's very smart people who I normally trust are in diametric disagreement on it.
If she sees a crime, she's got to say who and what law they broke. It's just too vague. I'll pick up on a point Dan made, which I know because I did a lot of reporting on this. They really did struggle with what to say. They didn't want to let the Russians go uncalled out in public, but they also didn't want to be accused of trying to make it seem like the Russians were doing something. They were pretending the Russians were doing something to help Hillary. I actually think there's 19 things you could list that say cost Hillary Clinton the election, and this is one of them. It was very close. You don't know what would have happened otherwise, but I think Russia helped Trump win substantially.
Is that hair bleached? The other guy? Or is that natural? If it's bleach, I would say I've tried that before too. It didn't go well. I looked very strange. And without passing judgment on this particular style, I think maybe a different style might be an interesting chance to explore a different side of yourself. He looks kind of like he's playing Joe Biden for Halloween or something. Or I guess someone said Trump. Maybe Trump. Who would you say yesterday? Malfoy? Yeah.
Not through collusion, but because they wanted Trump to win. And that is something she's playing down. What she's playing up is that they somehow broke the law in trying to protect Hillary Clinton. And again,
she's suggesting they manufactured it. She's basically suggesting this is the same thing as COVID, where the scientists went from, this looks like it came from a lab. We've never seen such a virus from an animal. And then after Fauci and Collins browbeated them, they came out and they were like, it's definitely not from a lab. It's from a pangolin.
They're people associated with Barack Obama who leaned into collusion without a doubt. And that wrong. I don't know if it's against the law. It was dirty pool. But mostly what they said was the Russians interfered with the election, and they did.
I think this is a little bit of cosmic karma. Everything comes full circle because Tulsi was accused by Hillary Clinton and the Obamas, I believe, of being like a Russian asset. And then she went on The View and said she's owned by Russia. She's a Russian puppet. And Tulsi was coming out saying, I'm nobody's puppet. I've served this country. I'm a woman in uniform, as she is, and she's a rock star. But I think
Who is this guy? What do you mean? You're missing the thread. Is he about to transition? How is this cosmic full circle? No, Tulsi's making a fool of herself by trying to let Russia off the hook. So, okay, saying she's an agent or Trump is an agent, like they're actively calling up Putin and being like, what do I do next, sir? Blame. Well, I can't do it. I'm just not in a good mood this morning. Whatever. Vladimir Putin impressions are for good moods. That's like kind of the tonal. Now let me think of some words to get to it. Tell them the election was stolen, Donald. There you go. That was good. Yeah, I'm fine. That wouldn't be fair because we don't have evidence of that. But if you're saying Hillary was off the mark by saying Tulsi seems a little too Russian aligned, then it's not cosmic justice for Tulsi to now be bringing up this fabricated report because she's the one fabricating it. And one of the side effects of blaming Obama for things he didn't do is that you're kind of trying to downplay what Russia actually did. So They didn't go as far as to use Trump as an agent, but they did try to help him. The P tapes, right? Trump taking golden showers, those didn't prove to be true, at least from what we understand. But the hacking of the DNC was real. So, like, all of this does is kind of substantiate the argument about Tulsi. Sir, can you, don't put that back up? Let me see who this guy is so I can use his name. Oh, no, I don't know which one he is. Link Lauren, Mark Halpern. I think Mark Halpern's the one on the right. Or Dan Torrentine. I'm just going to guess it's Link Lauren. Well, I'll call him Link. Link Lauren. Here we go, Link.
This is a little bit of cosmic karma. She gets to now come out and say, ha, look at what we've just uncovered in these files. But I think it's Monday. Maybe by the end of the day, we'll have more information, because I read on the way over here, she's now given something to the DOJ. Or
she said it's going to come out this week. We're going to see leak.
I think it's weird Friday night to make the announcement with everything going on.
I know. Why? They put out news that's bad for them heading into a weekend after a holiday. Like, they put out news that's good for them on Friday night.
Hannity will be here Monday, so I don't know.
That might have been an Epstein circle.
I was just going to say.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's going to...
They're figuring it out. Woo! Yes, it's all about that. Trump's so sick of the news cycle being about Epstein, so then Tulsi comes out and says, hey, we have a bombshell that proves Obama engaged in treason and conspiracy. Do you think that Tulsi... I think she's bad in many ways. I don't think she's stupid. I think she's an intelligent person. And she knows that mainstream media is not going to be duped. Randos, hopefully even some of conservative media is not going to be duped. I mean, Maria Bartiromo was in it. She was hyped. Are we going to see indictments, Tulsi? Are we going to see them? It's kind of what I hear whenever she goes. And she was hyped about it, but other, like Megyn Kelly, weren't so convinced. Oh, it is Link Lauren, isn't it? Yeah, Link Lauren. Okay. Good to know. But at least Trump posting videos of Obama being arrested, and Tulsi, she is the director of national intelligence. So even if they have to dispute what she's saying, you're going to have the mainstream outlets at least allotting some time to how crazy it is the Trump administration saying Obama should be arrested. And at least that gets for a second the discussion somewhere other than Epstein. And we're talking about Russia. Now on Epstein, but we have more serious stuff to talk about. Here, I'm just going to laugh about this. Something was so Bernie about how he set this up. Just get ready. Bernie Sanders addresses the Epstein situation. And I only watched the first few seconds, and just imagine where my brain went whenever he said this.
Thanks very much for joining me. Let me be frank. I have no idea what is in the Epstein files, who is in the Epstein files, or whether or not these files actually even exist. But this I do know. Jeffrey Epstein was an extremely wealthy guy who hung out with some of the wealthiest and most powerful people in our country.
And for too long, the wealthiest pedophiles paid little to no taxes. Jeffrey Epstein, the wealthiest pedophile, pays less in taxes by percentage than a school teacher. Make pedophiles pay more in taxes. 2028. I love how he brings up he was a very wealthy guy. And you know his brain's like, oh gosh, we could tax him better. Come on. That's funny. Let's just see where this is going, though.
And the world, including Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, multiple billionaires, and Donald Trump. And this I also know. During his presidential campaign, Donald Trump said very clearly that he would release the Epstein files. My response, Mr. President, do it.
Okay. Yeah. When was this posted? Yesterday. A little late to the party, Burns. A little late to the party. He's like, you know what I have to say? Release the files. Yes, we're all on that train now. Trump said, the funny thing is, his allies said they were going to release it. Trump was a little bit more waffling. And I saw Candace Owens say that here. So she's another right-wing figure. And they're all just they're just disoriented.
Trump's team filed that motion to unseal the grand jury transcripts. But like I said, looking at that AP News headline, it's because they already know they're not going to get anything. In that article, they cite 2 Manhattan federal prosecutors who both say that Trump knows that there's not going to be anything because grand jury testimonies in that district are known to be intentionally brief. So what are we to conclude about this, guys? Trump is playing games. He is. I'm sorry. He is flat out playing games right now. In fact, he's doing that thing that we always felt the press was doing to Trump supporters, thinking that we're stupid.
No, we don't think that. Candace, don't say that. We don't think that about you.
Going, okay, they don't know much about how the law works. So if I just say I'm going to unseal something, then it looks like I'm acting, and then I'm going to call everybody who doesn't agree with that a troublemaker. He knows exactly what he's doing. So I went back because I'm going, is this new? Is Trump suddenly being brand new about the Epstein topic? And the reality is, when we looked back at clips, he's actually always been a bit wishy-washy on the Epstein points, okay?
Let me see if I can win. Let me see something. This will be funny. What would we have titled that? What would we have titled that? Let's see. It wouldn't have been Fox editing this out, Trump, Luke Beasley. Let's see if I can find this from way back in the day. I hate YouTube has such an annoying search function. Everyone hold. Fox News hiding Trump footage, Luke B. It's just funny they're going, we went and looked back and found, okay, I can't find it. But like over a year ago, we were talking about that interview where he went about that subject. And it's funny that it kind of, again, it's not just about this subject. It's about what it says about their handling of the campaign. The amount of times that Trump supporters or Trump-aligned media figures would totally omit things he was saying. It's kind of like we looked at the comedian Andrew Schultz, who, if you could find, I don't know, you'll probably can find it. I want to find it so bad. Everyone hold for a second here. Gracie said, teaching my puppy Cornelius to bark at Donnie Dump. Nice. People asking Cole's back. Yes, Cole is indeed
clean,
back.
beautiful Cole.
There he is, better than ever. Can you play our new Charlie Kirk soundbite just while I'm finding this?
Balls in their hands.
Yeah.
Balls in their hands.
Right. Is this it? Let's see if this is
Often.
Let's see. Everyone wait. No. Okay. I won't keep looking. It would be funny to see me in like some completely different set a year and a half ago being like, they're hiding the footage. And then Candace goes, I think that in that footage Fox cut out of their interview, he might have proven that he's not interested in releasing stuff about Epstein. It's just, yes. But again, it says something about how they handle the coverage of Trump. When things are inconvenient, they just leave it out and they just act like it doesn't exist, and they repeat to themselves, he wants to release it, he promised us he'd release it, even though he didn't. He was pretty clear, and y'all should have been asking more questions about that back then, but you weren't. You just weren't. Okay, let's go away from that for a second. Do you remember this guy on Jubilee with Mehdi Hasan, who was absolutely insane? We have an update on what happened to him after this interview went public.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills, because that's the whole thing.
How do you know? Autocrats tend to kill everyone, even their own supporters.
Carl Schmitt makes this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right?
Carl Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
what about the persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution
We
and stuff
may
like
have
that,
to
which is
rename
bad.
the show
but-
because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone.
I told y'all I came in today just kind of annoyed. I'm just annoyed today. And I was just coming out of that. The Vladimir Putin impression helped me, and Jaden found the video I was looking for, and then that laugh ruined it. I'm so irritated. Can we just, if this weren't live, I would just be done for the day. I'd just walk away. I'm just annoyed. What is this? What is this?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I am. To the question of, are you fascist, after he can't clearly denounce the Holocaust and describes it as there was a little bit of persecution. And then goes, oh, so you're fascist? Yeah. I can't even, I can't do it. Gunboat said, make America great again. More like make America gape again. Oh, ooh. Yeah. So this guy, he was fired from his job. I can't imagine why. I hate when they go, this is cancel culture. I was fired just for my immutable political beliefs. They're very much mutable, and I wish you would mute them. No. You're fired because usually companies care somewhat about how their company is represented. And if you go around going, Nazis? I mean, I don't want anyone's human dignity to be violated, but like, do we know the Nazis did that? Then, of course, a lot of companies are going to go, I don't think you're going to represent our brand well. Like, if I was scrolling through YouTube, I'm just going to get comfortable, guys. And I saw producer Cole, and he was doing an interview, and they were like, hey, are you a fascist? And he was like, I don't know. And then started being, struggling to denounce the Nazis. It wouldn't be that I'm trying to discriminate against political viewpoints. It's just that's exactly what I'm doing, right? Because it's correct. Discriminate makes it sound like it's unjust. It's not that no one who disagrees with me can work for me. It's that I want my name, my company to be well represented, and Nazi version of producer Cole would not do that well. That's perfectly reasonable. He said, fired for my political beliefs. My name is Connor, and I was recently shown in the latest Jubilee episode. As a result, unfortunately, I was subsequently released from my job. I'm raising money as an emergency fund and for other expenses while I look for a new job. To clarify, I was terminated from my position for holding fully legal traditional right-wing political views. If you consider yourself as a traditional right-winger, this is what he's saying you represent. This is cancel culture and political discrimination on a full display. I just went on The Rift where I shared my story of what happened. You can watch it here. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, shoot. That's so embarrassing because he's going to say, can y'all donate to me? And people are going to be like, nah, bish, you're a Nazi, right? The whole internet's going to go, no. Who's going to donate to him? Nearly $20,000 has already been raised. With people commenting things like 88 or donating $88. You can figure that one out. Is it 88? Yeah, I think so. The Nazi thing. They have so many things also. Other thought. That's a different thought. And yeah, because HH, right? He'll hit. Yeah, there we go. Yep, that's it. And there were other pieces. I could probably find it, but a man who admitted to being a fascist during a debate claims he's been fired from his job after sharing his traditional right-wing political views. Let me see if this is the article that has. Yeah, so here's some of what people commented. We need a white nation. It's our only future. This is their donations. Vive le fascisme. One donor wrote while contributing $88. The number 88 is a coded far-right symbol used by neo-Nazis and white supremacists, which stands for Hail Hitler, as H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. We are rising and we must look after for one another, said another anonymous donor. I wonder why they're donating anonymously. Be proud of your stance if you're going to hold it. Okay, back to the Nazi thing. They have too many things. An arm gesture. They got SS. They got HH. They got 88. It's like half the things. The like OK symbol is white supremacy. They have too many things. When I'm like doing gestures, half of my brain energy is like, don't accidentally do a Nazi thing. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's too many things. You get one thing, one symbol, one number, one. Otherwise, it's sort of like when colleges are a little bit too willy-nilly about retiring jersey numbers, and it's like now you're losing so many of your jersey numbers. We're like retiring so many things to Nazis. They took too many things. Anyways, so he's already raised just under $20,000. Why people are giving their hard-earned money to him, why I think we know why. But it's not that I'm saying, oh, fire people I disagree with. It's I see, as someone who myself runs a little small business, I see that the people who work for you reflect on you in some way. So little differences doesn't matter, but if you're going to go run around publicly and scream about how you want an autocrat and how the Nazis, I don't know, they're so bad and I'm a fascist, then of course some companies are going to feel uncomfortable with that, as they should.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Mehdi, lovely to meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-Constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frankly.
Okay.
Because in regards to the Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us. Yes. And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. Making women and children be victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly, there are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So, quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So, I'm going to make a prediction. This guy, not that guy, this guy is going to be a right-wing celebrity in some capacity. He's going to get an internet show. They're going to use the word censored somewhere. And he's going to go around and do a bunch of interviews about how the left-wing mob... Hey, guess what? The left-wing mob did nothing. Maybe they did. I don't know. But probably your boss just saw your video and was like, wow, I didn't realize that I hired a dick. Probably that's what happened. Whoops. I should have brought this up in my introduction interview. That's going to be our new hiring process. Actually, that's been the hiring process of the Luke Beasley Show for some time. So get ready. If any of you are applying, first question I ask is, Nazis? Yay, nay? What do you think of Hitler? That's the first interview questions. So that we don't have any unexpected thing like that. And he already went and did the whole victim tour. I'm so tired of this. Oh my gosh. Free people decided not to associate with me because they have the freedom not to associate with me. And by the way, even if you hadn't said that stuff, I don't want to be mean. I wouldn't say necessarily that you are the type of person through which many people would choose to befriend.
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that, but...
What about the...
Yeah, it's so dumb. Okay, so then Elijah Schaffer, he's a terrible person. I have inside sources on that too. That sounds so like Alex Jones. My inside sources told me Alex Schaffer's a douchebag. But for real, he's a terrible human.
I was confused. I was like, I think that guy's... Is he trying to get fired? Because I know today that almost every job, every sector has been inundated with this DEI bullshit. And they allow you to believe anything you want, orthodoxy.
Right. It's a good point. I remember I was interviewing for a waiter job a few years ago, and they said, why do you want to work here? And I said, because I love spaghetti. It was the old spaghetti factory. And then they said, what makes you believe you'd be a good waiter? And I said, I'm good with people. And then I said, my mommy tells me I'm a bright light in dark rooms. And then they said, do you have sex with other men? And I said, no comment. And they said, oh. And then I heard the interview next to me, and the guy was like, no, I'm married, actually. And they're like, to a woman? And he was like, yeah. And they're like, we'll let you know.
We have to keep our country gay.
What is he talking about? Anything heterosexual you get fired for? What does that even mean? Like, they live in little caves. I've imagined people like Elijah and other people live in like little caves, and they only see the world through the prism of right-wing media. And like, they've never actually gone to liberal cities, and they just kind of think about this version of them. And in their world, you walk into like an Austin, Texas bar, and it's just only gay people all the time. And straight people are just hiding all the time, like in their houses, being persecuted. It's just, I don't even know what is going through his head when he said, let's listen one more time.
That are stringently right-wing Christian or heterosexual, orthodoxy.
Absolutely.
And
heterosexual orthodoxy. Oh. All right, let me say this. This show stands for the heterosexuals. Maybe that head motion didn't go well with that statement. This stands for the heterosexuals. I just want to say I don't know. Is this no, that's not a Nazi thing. But you just got to be careful. Number one. Heteros are number one. I'm telling you, I'm standing strong. I know he feels discriminated against. We say no to the homo here at the show. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's comments coming in. What are we doing? I'm just completely forgetting about y'all. I never forget about you. I'm sorry. Coach said, Merci Luke from Quebec City. Good work. I have some family members who are there right now. Say hi to them. Non-useful 2 said, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. Exactly. I don't even know what that's about, but something. That happens a lot here. Victoria said, take a shot every time he says, quite frankly. I know, he said, and quite frankly? Quite frankly. It's okay. I know it's difficult to public speak and stuff, but it's easier when you're not defending Hitler. Andy B became a member. I forgot to ask. Jesse Allen also became a member. If you're watching right now and you're not a member, the way we fuel this show is by people clicking the join button, or in the description, if you don't see the join button, sometimes people don't have it on the browser for some reason, you can click the link that references membership and you get the bonus show. And I'm about to show you a clip actually from the bonus show. We have a lot of fun on the bonus show is the point. And even if you don't feel like you need more content, because we do a ton of free content, just as a way to, in the background, support what we do, it is greatly appreciated. All right, one more time.
Right-wing Christian or heterosexual, orthodoxy.
Absolutely.
And you are in some serious trouble in your personal life over this. Am I right?
That is correct.
What happened?
Well, unfortunately, I lost my job as a result, and no one really is to blame for that. It's just the
you literally blamed cancel culture
that kind of exists currently surrounding the manner in which you're canceled for voicing exactly what you said, any heterosexual Christian sort of moral belief that goes beyond sort of the secularism and the relativism that we're so used to in our time. And so that's what I set out to do with Mehdi. He asked me, do you condemn the Holocaust? It's like, well, of course I condemn persecution of anyone, Jews included. I'm a Catholic. I don't believe in persecuting.
Why do you always word it that way? What's so hard about yes? Do you condemn the Holocaust? I condemn any instances of violence. What? There's something weird. Just be straight up. I'm just trying to speak the truth. No, you're not. You're weaseling out of everything. Just say what you believe. Say it. Say it. But he said it too. Look.
Currently surrounding the manner in which you're canceled for voicing exactly what you said, any heterosexual Christian.
Where? I'm trying to... My brothers are so heterosexual. My dad is so heterosexual. My mom is so heterosexual. My sister is so heterosexual. Jaden is so heterosexual. Cole is so heterosexual. And they are so uncanceled. Jaden walks down the street, just around here, around the office, and he'll see people and he'll go, hey, you gotta love being heterosexual. He says this, right? And people applaud him. They applaud him as he's walking down the street. I want to know where they're living. Where are you talking about? Now, do you mean vile, like you're using anti-gay rhetoric? Is that the pro? Because there's a difference between being anti-homo, anti-homo and pro-hetero. As Michael Scott said, what was it? I'm so hetero. Can't remember that quote. It's a weird world out there, huh? Peter said, who is Frank Lee? They're living in a fake universe. I think Jesse Allen Gracie, thank you. Michael Dlugos became a member as well. I appreciate it. So anyways, he's been fired and he's going to go raise a bunch of money. And that's just how things are. And hopefully that money will help him feel more confident in his heterosexuality. I support you for that. I don't support your weird right-wing beliefs, but I just want you to know that we're here for you. If you still haven't come out as straight to your parents, we can help. I'm with you. Okay. Speaking of hetero, Hunter Biden, sheesh. From what I hear. Hunter Biden, I'm not going to rant again. I promise. Some of you are tired of it. I spent, I think, like a collective 30 minutes yesterday ranting about this. For some reason, is doing interviews. I don't think it's helpful to our cause to have him reminding everyone of not the best parts of the last few years. But he was speaking about Stephen Miller. And I have to be honest, this was a slam dunk. He used the F word 7,000 times in the interview, but this was the one time where I think it really applied perfectly.
And his little physical demeanor and not be able to say, there's something fucked up about that motherfucker. However,
yeah. All right. I only criticized Hunter for the last day, but this is not bad.
And not be able to say, there's something fucked up about that motherfucker.
What a weird sentence. Yeah. That sums it up. Do you know what was so irritating, though? Oh, no. The rant's going to start again. Hunter's interview led to headlines like this. A deer in headlights. Hunter Biden reveals what caused Dad's horrible debate against Trump. And this was the thumbnail. Like on Mediaite, the thumbnail that was on Twitter was this photo. And it again rehashed coverage of what happened at Biden's debate. Like I told you it would. Do we really need to see this photograph anymore? Do we really need Hunter saying that the reason the debate was so bad was because Biden had been traveling all over the world and they gave him Ambien or something to go to sleep? First of all, with love, he took a week off before the debate. So I don't know if the travels could still be cited, but we've already covered that 1,000 times. It literally might be 1,000 mentions of it on the show. And for Hunter to come around and bring back up debate discussion drives me crazy. I thought we finally settled that we were done talking about that night. But again, I'm less mad because of this.
And not be able to say, there's something fucked up about that motherfucker. However,
true. about Stephen Miller. But just, Hunter, if you see this, please go. Go. We don't want to hear anymore. No. And then, of course, I saw Fox News covering Hunter Biden. Is he going to run for president? Jesse Waters was like, I think this is the dark horse they need. Scott Bessent. Let's just hear from him. What has he been up to?
And I can tell you, we're about to announce a rash of trade deals in the coming days, and a lot of these trade deals are going to include substantial investments in the U.S., whether it's autos, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. Well, you've said that the administration is not rushing these trade deals and that it's more about getting the terms right rather than just meeting deadlines. But we are, 10 days away from your August 1st tariff deadline. You've suggested that the president could extend the clock for countries making real progress on deals. So how hard of a deadline is that August 1st deadline for reciprocal tariffs to return with regard to China?
Well, let's break that down into the two pieces.
No, I'm bored. I don't know who got this clip for me. Me. But why did I pull this up? What was that for? The quotes, we're about to announce a rash of trade deals in the coming days. Oh, that's probably why I grabbed it. That's funny. I probably grabbed that clip when I was in a better mood and I was like, oh, I'll do my Scott Bessent impression. But now that would make me cringe. David said, look into the word heterosexism. It's interesting. Is that like heterophobia, kind of? Is it like I'm sure some people are mean on that basis, but not in this community. This community is love. We're all love. Michael Duglo sent 5 gifted memberships. Y'all grab those up. That's awesome. Luke can't drink enough energy drinks, but would love to get a Pep shirt. Wait, I read that wrong. I think I wished into existence what that message was. I thought you were saying can't drink enough of your energy drinks. That's not what you were saying. Drinkpep.com. Get yourself an energy drink that doesn't punish your body, but promotes your health. Oh, that sounded good. Kelly Be Crazy actually said Luke can't drink enough drinks. I did it again. Can't drink energy drinks, but would love to get a Pep shirt. Keep us posted on Pep merch. I think, do we have it somewhere? We made it, but I think only, you see I'm wearing it. That's funny. We could probably post that soon. Look at that kiddo. Look at bushy. Cool. And then see here, Mollius Rex said, thank you for giving me a platform to finally come out as hetero. Man of the people. Always. Non-useful 2 said, I'm homosexual. I support heterosexuals. If it wasn't for their lifestyle, the homosexuals wouldn't exist. Exactly. I have this profound gratitude. You guys do the work. We just have the fun, baby. Oh, gosh. Charlotte Wells has been a member for 7 months and sent hearts. And I love that. So, yeah, apparently a bunch of trade deals are about to come out. Is a rash a rash of trade deals? I didn't know that was... Actually, I'm not going to admit that. I get a lot of flack whenever I don't know the usage of certain words, especially from Jared. So I'm not going to even... say it. Tom Homan, here he is. He's on MSNBC.
Dr. Curtis, Matt, I've noticed in the media.
You know, that's Tom. Looking fresh as a daisy. And let's see what he's up to.
So, Mr. Homan, obviously, this is one of this mass deportation program, one of President Trump's signature campaign promises. But there's been a series of polls lately, including a new one from CBS, in which 56% of those surveyed disapprove.
Hey, Tom, where'd your shell go? Hey, Tom, I think you left your shell at home. Oh, gosh. That's up, yeah.
Of the president's...
It's very messy. Oh, gosh.
immigration stances. That's a 10-point drop from back in February, blamed by some on some of the in-your-face tactics, the masked ICE agents, the detention centers like Alligator, Alcatraz. Why do you think that the majority of Americans right now do not like what they're seeing?
Well, first of all, I don't believe the polls. Second of all, if there's any movement in the polls at all, it's because of the false stories out there about ICE. Like I read in the paper every day that a majority of people in ICE custody are not criminals. Wrong. The majority are criminals. But now the argument is, are they criminal enough? Is a DUI dangerous enough? Well, 10,000 people a year die from DUIs. I think DUI is a crime. So, then you got this whole, back and forth on how serious a crime is it. But I looked.
Are you saying, I don't know if I can say this. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Take your average undocumented immigrant, okay? Place them in one of those police lines. Get Tom Homan to stand next to them in one of those, like when suspects line up with the glass. And then get DUI victims to come stand behind the glass and pick which one they think did the DUI. Who, just statistically, I'm talking stats, so it can't be offensive if I'm talking stats. Who do you think, if you got 100 DUI victims, people who have been hit by DUI drivers, to come and pick who they believe it was more likely to have been, and they just get the immigrant to say a few things. They get Tom to say a few things.
Look, it's very smart. I've noticed in the media.
And they have to choose. Which one do you think did the DUI? I'm just asking.
The numbers yesterday, a majority of our criminals have criminal history. Who are the rest of the people in our custody? They're national security threats. They may not have a criminal conviction, but they're national security threats based on intelligence reports. For instance, ICE arrests over 200 Iranian nationals that are currently in custody. Yeah, they're not documented criminals, but they're national security threats. They need to be detained. There's also what we call expedited removal cases. There are certain immigration arrests that we make within the confines of the border within 2 years that we process through expedited removal, which by statute, by federal law, we're required to detain. So that the media just isn't telling the truth about who we're in detention.
Okay. So first of all, the intelligence that sometimes y'all have used is tattoos, literally. And then I'm sure you've also arrested very dangerous people that we would want deported. And those are not the people that we're taking issue with. But even if you take issue with the percentages that people are throwing around of how many don't have criminal records other than illegal entry, even if you take issue with that, we still have the anecdotes that prove the sloppiness. We have the stories of people that we have been able to verify their background life. Some of them aren't even in the country illegally. In numerous cases, you have green card holders. You have legal asylum seekers. And so just those cases prove that you've been so sloppy. Like the grandpa who's been here for decades, who's had a green card for a very long time, and who lost it, so he went to the office to replace it, and was grabbed up with no explanation by authorities, deported to not even the country that he immigrated from. Someone called his family and said, hey, he's dead, and in reality, he was in Guatemala. So you can dispute the percentages all you want, but we have the heartbreaking stories that are an outcome of your sloppiness. Okay, what do we want to do here? Let me just see. We have some more time. Let's jump forward to something we talked about in the bonus show. Again, to get the bonus show, you click the join button. Great time. And I'll show you a clip from the bonus show. And then I want to hear, while we have a live audience, I want to hear from all of you where you stand on the Southwest Airlines assigned seat change. Me and Cole, we're really in a tough spot in our friendship right now because he came into work and he's like, I can't believe you like assigned seats. And it's stressful. And so I'm hoping that if we bring this out to the community, we can at least air out our dirty laundry. So here's what we talked about, and then we'll discuss as a community. So that's that. Then you have, I'm super excited about this. And some of you might, I'm really throwing out the controversial stuff today. Southwest Airlines are you shaking your head? Are you a pro? Oh my gosh, he's saying yes. Cole likes that Southwest Airlines doesn't give you an assigned seat. I hate it. And they're announcing that they're going to start assigned seating. The end of an era is official for Southwest Airlines passengers. Get your mic ready. On Monday, the airline announced, and maybe take your headphones off because it'll echo, a start date for its new assigned seating, which will bring the airline's long-standing open seat boarding tradition to an end. So what is it that you like about having to mad dash to a seat as a bunch of other people try to get to it?
You don't have to mad dash. If you just check in early to your flight online, it gives you a good seat.
What if you are physically incapable of ever checking in until you get to the airport?
And that's on you. That was the one reason why I flew Southwest, because I could just check in the day before, and then I'd have, the A boarding, group to get on, and then I get a front row seat by the window every time.
Oh, I see. Because whenever you get assigned seats, it feels like you never get a nice seat like that, or they upcharge for it.
But if you just do the early bird check-in, it does it for you 24 hours before, and then I'm one of the first people boarding. And good seat every time.
Okay, I see. Now you explain that well. I see that. Where are you on this? Do you have a stance?
No, I really don't. I don't.
Because the problem with me is I can never remember to check in or selecting check in. Like I always just check in when I get to the airport at the kiosk as I'm checking my bags. And then I also like getting to the airport within 3 minutes of the flight. We've missed some business flights for that reason, like business trip flights. And so that was our discussion last night. We did have some of the audience turn on me in the bonus show comment section. They said, I'm never watching the show again. No. One person said, another domestic air travel Luke rant, complete with grunting pelvic luggage thrust. Oh, I guess I have to play to that part. That was pretty notable. Was exactly the kind of content I needed today. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Me trying to prove my point went off the rails is kind of the point. And then we had hashtag Team Luke on the Southwest thing. My anxiety can't handle that unassigned madness. Yeah, you're walking up, you try to get in the seat, but someone else gets it before you. You start trying to sit down, and then you realize the person's like smelly, so then you stand back up and like, oh, never mind, I saw a better seat. And then you feel like you offended them. I've never done that, obviously, but I'm sure someone else maybe has. Then someone said, Luke, your inability to check in at an appropriate time is a you problem, not the airline's problem. CBC has that shit on lock. Clean, beautiful Cole, LMAO.
Clean, beautiful.
There it is. Let's play into the part that was referenced about the pelvic thrusts. So hard because I've gone to the airport early in past times, and then I sit there and I want to go insane, and I'm like, I have so much more time I could have been doing. But then, of course, every time you get there late, then you end up missing it, or at least you're sprinting through the airport. And so I also hate the waiting in line. So what I do, if you have a assigned seat, is wait until everyone's boarded, and I'm at the hotel bar doing whatever, and then walk on as they're doing like the final call. Then I just walk on. I don't have to wait in that line. You're standing on the jet bridge and you're hearing people talk, and someone's behind you crying. I just had somebody going through a breakup behind me on their phone. It's just, but just walking on, it's just you, and jumping in your seat is what I like. But yeah, I guess if you want a nice seat, then you can get there early. That's the part that's never going to happen. So I'm excited about assigned seating, because I hate too, like you walk on and you're making eye contact with everybody. And for me, since I don't get there early, it's not like clear, open seating. It's like pretty packed. And then you look at one person and they like look at the center seat and you're like, no. And then you step further and there's some strange looking person and you're like, and then you realize I only have 3 more rows till the back. Can I sit there? And they're like, and they take their purse off of the thing, and you sit down, you're like, where are you flying to? Oh wait, we're on the same flight. Ugh. Something about just the assigned seat. You say that's my seat. You get in as opposed to, and you gotta ask people because I'm always the center seat because I always get there too late. And so then I walk up and someone looks like I don't even know how the way they get up. The difficulty at which they get up out of the seat makes me feel like I'm doing some big burden on them. They're like, and then you open the thing and it's already closed, and you open it and it's completely jam packed, and so then you're just like pushing your bag into it, and like you're what?
I was lost for a second. Oh. You're just like, never mind.
You put your bag in and you're like, oh, and then you start thinking like, wait. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's not going in. No, like when the bag doesn't fit into the overhead.
I've never used my hips to get my bag into
No, I was setting up a joke. Okay. All right. I get it. So what are you seeing in the comments, Jaden? Well, how do people feel about the Southwest?
It seems like
they completely off that subject now to the thrusting.
It seems like a split. I'd say 85-15 in Cole's favor. I won't lie.
Y'all like? Of course. Y'all like having to get there so early, and then like one thing I hate too is if you have a assigned seat, you can wait until really late, as I referenced, and otherwise, if you get there early enough to be boarding group A, you have to sit in the plane for so long before it takes off, while everyone's boarding, and you look at everyone. The only activity you have is like people watch as they walk by you. And your brain's like, how are they so slowly getting onto this plane? It's mind-boggling. But all right, I lose. Y'all side with Cole.
We're doing Cole.
Thank you, David. I think I have seen that's the consensus among Southwest fans, that people are angry about it. Jared said, imagine being twerked in front of an airplane by Luke Beasley. Well, the funny thing is, that's actually funny because the place where like viewers of the show see me the most is the airport, which makes sense because like a lot of people are there of all different ages and demographics. So that's where I get to talk with the most amount of viewers of the show. And there have been times where when I'm traveling, I get really bored. My problem is I get bored too easily just in life. And so like if the guys and myself are traveling, I'm sometimes being very strange to try to entertain, like to make each other laugh. And there have been times where like on a plane, I'm being like silly and goofy and maybe saying things I don't want everyone to hear. And then someone like leans over in the chair over and they're like, hey, Luke, I love your show. And I'm like, oh no. Replaying the last 10 minutes. What have I been saying? Why was I putting my back into the compartment like that? But I think the Southwest airline fan base is on board with the audience, which is they're going to be mad that they're changing their process. Why'd you send me MM? Why'd you send me that one? I'm not going to read that. That's insane. Gunboat said open seating is right-wing coded, individualist behavior. Yeah. I think, first we start with open seating. Next thing you know, we're going to have fascism. That's what So, Cole, tread lightly. Thank you all so much for watching. I will talk to you next time.